Okay, this is going to be a pretty hard video for me to make, I think, and I'll probably rant and rave a bit, because I'm still not 100%, not 100% certain in everything that I'm about to say. Forgive the gravelly voice, and just woken up. But it's the time of the day when the house is quiet and I can collect my thoughts. I don't want any of my subscribers or anyone else who watches this to see this as an insult against their religion, spiritual faith. This is my experience and my experience only. And I'm also sorry for the auto exposure changing. The sun's coming up, and this is just what my camera does anyway, because it's a pain in the ass. I guess what's triggered me off thinking in the first place was that a couple of months ago I've been studying paganism and neo-paganism and witchcraft since I was about 16, and started actively being involved in it on a solitary level, because I'm not really much of a group person. I hate organised religion, but started seriously practicing it on a solitary level in March of 2007. I carried a lot of these same beliefs prior to that, but that's when it really all clicked into place in my head, and I started practicing magic on a regular basis. So I started doing this. I thought, I could probably do with some formal training. I'm the kind of person who tends to sort of do things in their own way, and I thought, well, I'll do some formal training, and I'll see, if I can develop some discipline and put it all together, further my skills and all the rest of it. I did first 3 lessons, I think, and the first one I did, I was like, wow, this is great. And then as it went on, I realized that it was all about visualization and making yourself visualize things in a very real, clear manner. And I don't know, something in my mind just sort of clicked, and I thought, hang on, is this supposed to be real, or am I pretending this is real? And I had a bit of a hard time with some of the visualization exercises. I was really sort of forcing myself to see these things, to experience these feelings. Some of these feelings just came to me, some of the experiences just came to me, but some of them I was forcing myself to have in line with the lessons, and it just seemed a bit wrong for some reason. I also after that, my partner started watching some Richard Dawkins stuff, and I originally I saw, I can't remember if it was Enemies of Reason or The Root of All Evil on television before, and had not liked Richard Dawkins very much in the past. I saw him as one of those little angry, red-faced skeptics, and I didn't understand what on earth could make him so angry. I had that sort of, I had a bit of a sort of obnoxious sort of notion about him, that I thought, people would only be that angry if they had tried to have these spiritual experiences and it never happened for them, and they felt like left out, perhaps. Like, why can't I have these experiences? If I can't have them, they must be fake, sort of thing, and getting really angry about it. But anyway, this time I watched it with an open mind. My partner was playing basically everything that he could find of Richard Dawkins, and I was fascinated. I was compelled, and and it all made sense to me. Now, bear in mind, to a great extent, most pagans believe in scientific explanations for how the world came into being, how all the creatures and plants on the earth became so varied. So it's not like in Christianity where you might be combating the idea of a literal 6-day creation or something like that. Most pagans don't really believe in that. Most of neo-pagans anyway. But it was all the other stuff about how anecdotal evidence of something it doesn't make it real, and how there could be other explanations for for the experiences that people have, and that the world is such an amazing place that you don't have to tack on like supernatural meanings to things. We will work it out scientifically eventually, where there's a gap. So I sort of came to see the results of my workings on a spiritual level. I had results, and I had faith that those results had come through my actions on a spiritual level. But I start questioning, would those things have happened anyway? What was the probability that they would happen without me trying to intervene on a spiritual level? And I don't know, some of these things, the probability seemed pretty low, but none of them were like improbable to the point of almost impossibility. And also, some of my experiences, some of them were very, very amazing and very beautiful, but it could well have been a product of my imagination. At this point in my life, focusing on truth and fact and these kinds of things is very important. And I watched one of Dawkins' documentaries. I can't remember the name, I really wish I could, which focused more on New Age and alternative medicine and that kind of stuff. And he basically said the placebo effect was a powerful thing, and that even for completely unproven practices, things that just, really scientifically couldn't possibly work, people were getting positive reactions, and that was because of the interaction with the therapist, who had more time to spend with their clients than the doctor, and that kind of stuff. That there were positive results coming from that. But also, just talking about New Agey stuff, and I always considered that serious occultism was very different than the New Age. But essentially, the New Age came out of occultism, came out of things like Order of the Golden Dawn and all of these kinds of late 19th century religious movements and the writings of their followers. And Thelema, obviously. But Order of the Golden Dawn, was seminal of all these other groups. So I just kind of felt, I ended up kind of feeling like what I believed and what I was doing was very much along similar lines, I was treating myself with, for problems in my life, with, mystical treatments. I was responding to things, real things in my life, in a way that I can't prove has direct causal effect. And that to me started to seem kind of silly and perhaps risky. I still think, this is my personal belief, I still think that neo-pagan philosophies, neo-pagan spiritual practices are probably the best out there. I've heard one practitioner describe magic as being applied psychology, and as some people who are atheist use Buddhism as a psychological tool set, so to speak. And I probably will use some elements of paganism in that manner. But I choose to not suspend my disbelief as much as I have been before, and not to intentionally place myself under a delusion. So yeah, I think I'm an atheist. And it's really weird. See ya.